Tonight, Nigel Farage is no longer there is no entity for clear distractions. By the benefit of based on what this does not know the expert. So the explanation of
Evening all.
Hi, Chris. Hi, Chris.
Are we all doing sweating in there?
Yes.
Yeah, we're not doing as well as people are sitting outside in their garden, that's for sure.
Well,
Chris.
I tend to think a lot clearer when I'm sitting outside in the garden.
That's a good place to be.
Thank you.
Owen.
That was interesting. So you're going to leave, you? Yeah, it's in part anyway. Sorry, you concerned?
Yeah.
But you're on mute. You're on mute, Chris.
I'm sorry I was on mute.
You were.
How are you, Philip?
Which one?
There's two Phillips.
Who's saying that?
Still hard of hearing, I see.
All these troublemakers. Yes. Do you want me to begin? So Ben can speak to me about. I can do, yeah. So we can get rid of Brendan? Yeah. You got anything to present? Or just present it to you? Oh, that's not really good. Oh, that's fine. Oh, yeah. So, okay.
And that's Nick.
Somebody treat it. It's like, I've got the full matchings.
Hi, Nick.
Good evening.
Hi there.
Hi all.
Hi, Nick. Hi, Nick.
Dave's here as well. Hi, Dave.
Animal.
Oh, you know.
Hi Dave.
That's down.
Good.
It's down.
Yeah, there's,
No, she's coming.
sorry,
There's a stand coming.
I should, apologies for myself. Have a six,
Yes, you can start.
let's have a six, so we're gonna go. Welcome, folks. We got the apologies for absence, so we just had Estelle.
Just as down.
Sorry?
Just Estelle.
Okay. Good. Now, I'm, any declaration of interest? No? Dispensations, no? Public participation to receive members of the public who wish to address the meeting in respect of any item of business included in the agenda. No resolutions will be made under this item and should relate only to matters of council policy or practice and not individual affairs of the questioner or any other named person. Okay,
I think Russ wants to say something.
sorry,
I think Russ wants to speak.
Russ.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, please do.
Now,
Yes. Yeah, yeah.
okay. Getting quite surprised with it. Just like to introduce myself. I'm Ross Goodwalder, the chairman of the cricket club in town. And the reason for me coming here tonight is
I'm sorry, Russell. You might know, you might not know. I'm as deaf as a dodo in this year and I'm struggling with this year. Do you mind coming into the Anne Van Brendan, if you would?
yeah, you're the first person to say I'm too quiet, Phil.
Eh?
You're the first person to tell me I'm too quiet.
Yeah.
I'm usually the other way.
You'll see.
You're all right, Phil?
If you get in there and if you can shout a bit,
Okay, mate, sorry.
I'd appreciate it.
Sorry about that. Okay, so I'm Russell Goodwalder, I'm the chairman of the cricket club. Come really tonight to appeal to you for a little bit of help as far as our storage is concerned down at the recreation fields. I met with the town clerk and Paul probably about 18 months ago, and we discussed building a structure where the nets are. However, we've encountered a bit of a problem with that. We need to use those nets now we've got 70 children who come to use the ground for cricket during the summer, and we're looking to refurbish those nets, which means we're not really able to put a structure there. So we twofold our problems are. We have a big roller, which we did use council facilities for until there was no more room. Unfortunately, there's nowhere for that to go. It now stands on the actual playing fields, which is a little bit of a health and safety issue. Obviously, we secure it as best we can, but it is a worry. And also, we recently had an environmental health visit. Now, the only storage we have at the cricket and rugby club is, as there's two clubs sharing the actual facilities, is the cellar where the beer is kept. And environmental health came, saw all our equipment there and, no, that can't happen. So we've got a twofold problem really. We need to store the roller for health and safety reasons before, well, as you know, there can be vandalism down at the recreation field. And also because environmental health hot on our heels to make sure that we move all of our equipment out of where we normally keep it. And at the moment we're stuck for anywhere to put it. We'd like to propose a container next to where the actual groundsman's shed is at the moment. I have got an AI vision of it if you want to have a look at that later. And use that really. It would be a 20-foot by 8-foot by 8-foot container. And that would facilitate our storage. We would like to put some electricity there from that to the storage, which then could facilitate your own. We'd be happy for the council to use that, which might be of use to you, I don't know. At the moment, the area where we envisage putting it is a waste ground. There's not much there. We'd obviously lay the concrete and all expenses we'd incur and we'd be happy to pay all that. But really we're stuck. The main concern really is that roller being stuck in the middle of the field, to be honest with you. It used to be, Phil, you'll remember, there used to be a wooden shed behind by the bowling club where the top turnstile is, but that's rotted away many, many years ago. And then we used your facilities, obviously, but that's not possible anymore. So we're looking really for a little bit of help and to help us in those two situations.
Okay, thank you, Russell. Any comments?
Just factual that you gave permission actually to Paul to give permission to the cricket club last year to build a block-based building that, as Russell just explained, no longer possible in the location that you agreed last year.
Nick Howells, so
Nick Howells?
I would just like to comment that I honestly feel that we need, as the town council, to do everything so far as is reasonably practicable to support and promote all the sports club in the town.
Anybody else?
You'll discuss it later on the agenda,
Yeah.
so it's just that if you've got any questions for Russ, this is the point now to ask Russell questions.
Mr. Chairman, would you like to have a look at how it would look? It's AI generated, Phil. It wasn't anything to do with me, but one of my members has done this with me. It might be helpful.
You are starting to trouble me.
It might be helpful for you to have a little bit of a look at it, just to give you an idea.
Yeah, pass it round.
I'm a visualizer, to be fair.
So
If you can, Russell.
it's not there already, don't panic. That's where your shed is in time. Oh, yeah, I can tell you about that. Yeah, absolutely maintain that.
Oh, sorry, Chair. Could I just reiterate what I just said was a suggestion, not a proposal at this stage.
Nick's just saying that this one. Yeah, no, we got that.
Yeah.
That's how it's. Okay. Well, so that's what, as you know, that's how it is now. That's what we can do.
That's how it is now.
Yeah, and that's what it would do if we were able to put that in.
One question straight away, if we allow that, can we have them both painted the same colour? Don't matter what colour it is, but.
Yeah.
I just agree it's a better colour for mixed in with the trees and this and the other, it blends better.
We'll have to pay for that, no problem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We saw more of this one. So we
Wouldn't have any luck with it. But we're happy to pay for
Come round
that.
this
So
way.
it's complicated experience.
We got fine.
So,
No, it's fine. I'm sorry, protective,
so
So where would this be going?
that's how it looks now. So the rugby club is here to the left. And the cricket club, obviously. So that's how it looks now. That's how it would look.
So it's just a change.
It's just, do
And where is it exactly? I'm trying to envision this. So when you go into.
you know where the cricket club is?
Is that?
It's a separation.
It's
a separate issue.
Yeah.
I've been to the bowling club.
Well, it's a big building.
So if you enter
Across.
if you enter Mazda through the turnstile and the playground's on the left.
Yeah, well, you look diagonally across towards Long Mountain, there's a big building on the front.
Yes, it has.
And that's the rugby and cricket club, that's
It's hidden by the lorry for the
That's
stage,
it, that's
right?
it.
Okay, that's
So
it.
that would be the cricket club there, and this
So then
is
where's that?
virtually, that is about 20 yards across from it. So the cricket club would be here, and that is your,
And so this is what it looks like now,
and that's the council shed.
and this is the council
That's
shed,
where you keep all your equipment.
got it. And then this is what you wanna, there you
That's
go.
what's gonna be.
Yes, Chris.
Thank you, Chair. Could I ask the gentleman, what
Thank you.
other usage they intend to use the shipping container for?
What's your question, Coon?
Purely for storage, as I said, it'd be a roller, which is, I'm not sure how many ton it is, a ton probably, it's a big piece of equipment, which is sitting on the outfield at the ground at the moment. And the other things that will be in there, I've got a list actually, Chris, so you're okay, I'll read it out for you rather than. In there would go roller, mower, kit bags, pitch markers, scoreboard, sheeting from the covers, which are down there already, and sight screens, not the sight screens themselves, but the covers of the sight screen, and the copious amount of youth cricket kit that we now have to, not we have to have, we now have because of the growing number of children we have down there to play. So that would just about manage it. I think that's as small as we can go.
Can I just come back on that? I forgot what I was going to say now. That's brilliant, isn't it? Yeah. Actually, how will the insurance cope with that? You've obviously got the cricket club insured. You've got the building down there at the moment. I don't know if we're insuring it or you're insuring it. Will your insurance be able to come? You know there's a large possibility that there will be some idiot trying to break in, or will your insurance cover that?
We'll make sure our insurance covers that. I presume you mean for our building itself.
For your building and
Council.
I guess the rugby club have got their own, have they?
It'll be separate, yeah.
It'll be separate. You do need to
well,
just.
It depends which building. If you're talking about the main building, the clubhouse, we'll have the joint club will have insurance for that.
Yeah.
If you're talking about the separate containers, then the rugby club would have insurance for theirs. We'll have insurance for ours.
That's fine. I just making sure that at least you're covered in some aspect of insurance, just in case, you know. Thank you.
Anybody else?
Yeah.
Nick
No.
Howells.
Just quoting from my previous experience in security, the National Trust, we use a lot of shipping containers on countryside sites to store chainsaws, strimmers, all that sort of stuff. And your shipping container these days, if it has a shrouded lock on it with at least a CEN insurance qualified lock, they are extremely difficult to break into. It would take a professional, not just a bunch of kids.
I don't know, but just there's been a spate of thefts from local cricket clubs. Shipnell and Wem have had equipment stolen recently, so it would have to be very secure because Shropshire County Cricket Club are warning clubs that they need to have really tight security now because there's obviously thieves out there targeting cricket clubs.
Anybody else? No. Okay.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much for your time, Mr. Chair.
Thank you
Appreciate
very
that. Nice to see you.
much, and we'll pick it up.
Lovely. Thank you very much, everyone.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, you can move Brendan's items to here if you want.
Yeah.
Thank you, bye. Thanks, Ron.
Thanks, Russell.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Brendan, would you like to take the same sort of opportunities you get away from
Yes,
this
I'm,
mob?
I'm fine.
Well,
Yeah.
what we're doing with you, Brendan, is we're moving 7.5 on the agenda early, to your point, so you can give your thoughts and council can decide at the same time.
Yes, well, thank you all. Can you hear me? Is that,
Yeah.
or if you're having me
as long as
stand
you-
or do you want me to stand?
You're talking straight at me, yeah, but I always come down here. Gordon.
How's that? Is that,
Yeah.
it's like, I don't know, that's it. I have to apologise. That's the second occasion I've come to council and my fire alert has gone off. So that's our third call for today. So I don't know what that.
I did arrange you one of the firemen to do it.
Oh, there we are. Yeah. So thank you again, members and Richard, for inviting me to come along and just give a kind of just a light touch overview this evening, because I'm conscious I'm due to come back to full council and I'll give a more detailed overview at that point later in the month. So I just wanted to really touch base and kind of reaffirm what we've discussed previously, or I've shared for the opinion of council. And you know, what do I see as kind of the immediate priorities? Because you know, we've got to work together. That's implicit, and you know, it's not something we can do alone. I wouldn't expect, you know, we can't expect council to you know, approach any project, you know, without having an assurance and commitment and an understanding. So there's a few kind of immediate priorities. Met with Rich on site, and you know, for me, if we can get the Scansis pitch lease over the line, we're amenable to that. And you know, however you want to approach that, we've had the assurance from Richard that obviously the lease has kind of rolled over. Rich, I'm not sure of the correct terminology there. Roll over, and there's public liability, etc. on there. What I would say, that has been such a fantastic project. Phil, you led on that many years ago, and you know, as managing the local housing team as I have in the past, that's presented very little problem. There's been great interaction with children, adults of all ages. Probably the only kind of area that we had problems is with the properties that are close by, where footballs going over, and that isn't a pleasant experience for the residents, but that probably is the standout kind of situation there. So we'd be very keen to push that forward as you see fit. I put a couple of slides there, really, just which I'll cover on the next section. Residents consultation. We've got plans now to at council. When we met in February, I gave an undertaking that we would consult with residents. So we've got a commitment that will be done and completed by the end of July. And that will not just be, you know, our residents will consult with the whole estate. What I propose to do is have a physical kind of greet and meet if people want to come and meet. There's a central green area, base myself there, and we'll get obviously a survey out as well. And you know, we're happy to take comments by preferred method of you know, of the respondents. So we'll get some comms out shortly about that, just to kind of highlight that through social media, what we'll be doing. And I think really that would be the baseline of how we proceed, because if we do have to look at, which we're going to have to do, funding for any project, we're going to have to evidence what the need is and what the wish of the community is.
Can I just, sorry to interrupt you, what are you asking them?
Sorry?
What are you asking them? What are you consulting on them about?
Yeah, it would be play provision.
Okay.
It'd be consulting on really, sorry, Richard, I should have clarified that. It would be to consult on, you know, really what residents would like to see. You've got to be careful if you put an open question, you're going to get all sorts back. But it's kind of framing the question. What I dare say, what the experience is out there now is there's the traditional play, but that's also kind of supported with well-being spaces, etc. So it's how we can kind of bring the two together and manage expectations. I certainly wouldn't want to stand here or in front of anyone and say we can do it. I'd use the term, we're going to try our very best to working in partnership, with yourselves, Powys County Council, or and funding grant funders, whether that be the lottery or various trust funds. So that would be what I see there. I put there to continue explore opportunities for partnership working, and I dare say that comes on to the slide that I've got. And I met with Richard. Richard, you were clear in terms of what we call the area by the Scansis pitch there, that you would not be interested to the area to the left, the bottom, but you would be interested in looking at perhaps a proposal to lease for the area going beyond the Scansis pitch. So that's what I'm saying. That would be what I would see as the opportunity to work with yourselves. And again, we're amenable to looking at that. I also put up on that the looking at allotments, and I have to say the allotment project. I don't know if you've seen the project of the fire station. That is absolutely fantastic. Even though I'm in charge of this, I don't take any credit for it. It wasn't. I probably have a bit of stick actually from colleagues there, seeing what a silly idea it was. But we had a station officer, a lady by the name of Kerry Hughes, who had the vision to deliver that. And we've also had residents from Maith Maldwyn going over there. And probably the story for me, this produce, there's one gentleman there, he describes it as life-changing, where he's residing in Maith Maldwyn, coming over, he's tending the garden, he's there at all hours. So that's really something we want to kind of replicate and for the community. And what I'd say, the project at the fire station, I've used it there as for the community. At the fire station, it is literally for the community. There's community members have been going there, helping themselves to whatever. So we want to kind of incorporate that on the bottom side of the pitch. And I have to stress, not in any competition with your allotments or anything, that we just see that as an added project. So that's why I've kind of brought together the play aspect of it and the well-being. And the other thing we would like to say I haven't included on the slides is, do you still have the community fridge, or is that, how we as an organisation, we can contribute to that as well? Because part of our mission statement is to kind of eradicate food poverty and general, poverty within households. And food poverty is something we're very much into, particularly in North Wales, and we want to bring that project here. So really, while the focus is on play, it was just to give you an update. One thing I would say, I obviously at previous meetings there's been sums of money banding about. We certainly haven't. I haven't got a figure what would be needed to improve the facilities. That's why we gain the consultation. And then look, we've got a development team who can put a design on the area for us. So any kind of conversations around it, 70, 80,000, that really is pie in the sky, because we don't have that figure, and we wouldn't have the ability to, I don't have the expertise to say it's that amount. So we would have to kind of seek, proposals from play providers, and that would be the basis of where we go forward. So I dare say from yourselves is to consider is the Scansis pitch, lease of land. If you do wish to progress in conversations around any other areas, but I'd like to kind of firm that up, what to understand formally what you would or would not like to progress. And again, to be clear, this is not, you know, ourselves saying we want you to do it. It has to be choice, and the decision of council is not in any way we're standing here saying, you know, it is down to you as a group of elected members to make that choice. And I would say, you know, the facilities there, you know, I'm the first to say they do need to be improved. You know, I couldn't stand here in all honesty and say they are great facilities, but the facilities that have met their or served their purpose, but going forward, we need to improve what's there, and it's how we get to that. So, and probably working in partnership is a favourable way. And however, I recognise the pressures on yourselves as, you know, as an elected body, and you have to be very, very sensible around uses and, you know, of public funds. So that's all I have to say. And I'll bring in more kind of, if we could have some, whatever council decides, that would give me the ability to bring something more structured to full council, if I may, later in the month, hopefully without a fire call in between. Thank you, Mr. Chair. Happy to take any questions.
Yeah, it's good having you here, Brandon, because in the last meeting, lots of things were being said, but you're here to answer the question. So if you don't mind,
yeah, absolutely. Please, I'll do my best.
Oh, Bill was actually before me.
Oh,
Oh, you're a sweetheart. The consultation with residents,
Yes.
you mentioned, people coming out
No,
to.
that's my back. You know, sorry.
No, it's fine, I'm
That's
sorry.
No.
The consultation with residents, you mentioned, it's where they can voice their concerns about the play facilities, correct?
Not concerns. It would be what they would wish to see.
Okay,
Because we know there is a concern in the group.
but you mentioned, you mentioned, being on the green, so are you, I'm just trying to understand, so is it like a day where people can come?
Yeah, and we'll also do a letter drop. They can respond either via letter, via email, by Microsoft form, text message.
Do we have a date for that?
I'm conscious, I would like to have, if I'm truthfully honest, to bring something to council with the result. I don't think I'll be in that position, but I'd like to be able to say we completed that exercise in July. That's what I have a meeting next Monday with colleagues to kind of plan that. It won't take a lot of planning, so I will let you know, and please feel free to be involved in that process as well.
I'm the counselor for Castle Ward, so Oldford's my domain, so I would like to be a part of that.
Absolutely.
Just because I've been around the residents so long.
Yeah.
Speaking to them, I know that a lot of them do not have much trust or faith in the systems, so I would really like to work with you to try and change that.
And that's important to work with us, isn't it? Yeah, no, well, absolutely no problem.
Okay, cool.
Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, two things. First, just on it really, in terms of allotments, do you not think maybe a community garden project might be better than?
Sorry, I perhaps phrased it wrong. Community garden.
Yeah.
Where,
because that then brings people together to work together.
Sorry, it's not. I have to rephrase that, but community garden.
I mean, I think that would be a tremendous thing there. Second thing that really is just, obviously, we are not going to get play equipment and hold for anywhere without applying for grants and support. And so it's just really a question as to, you know, do you have the resources willing to to identify grant makers, make applications and so forth?
Indeed. So first of all, I'd like to say I have no expert. I am not a bid writer for grants, but I'm currently managing, covering maternity leave, the community support and development team. We have a dedicated community development officer, and we also have a person within who's able to kind of pull together. We give the information and they can pull it together. Grant funding is now become, I speak to organisations that have traditionally relied on grant funding, and probably to say 1 in 5, you're lucky if you can, you know, get it through because of, you know, the trustees and the trusts are very, they're more stringent, you know. So absolutely, we digress slightly, but we do have those resources in place to do that.
And supplementary to that, actually doing this in conjunction with us.
Yeah,
will give you a better chance of success.
It will. I don't think I'll rephrase that. I think we have a better opportunity working in partnership with a common aim than we do as single entities. That's just the view I have.
Thanks, Phil. Yeah, possibly I'm a little out of date on this, but the principal complainant, if I can call her that, the lady whose property butted directly onto the scaffold ditch, and some of the other local residents I know had concerns. Has that been resolved, or is that still ongoing? And if it's ongoing, are you actively looking at ways in which disruption and disturbance to the immediate local residents around these play areas can be minimised, or at least abated in some way?
That's a fair question. Well, it's as I said in my kind of opening kind of statements, the complaints not in any way trying to undermine or you know back those away. There has been a small number of complaints, and it was around the footballs coming over. Kindly with Paul's assistance, we did put kind of a netting, and we put trellis. I'm not going to say that is perfect, but my own view is, and that's why it's possibly worth in hindsight, which I don't think perhaps the Scansers pitch would have been better further down in that area. It would kind of minimise the risk of, because that I'm not currently managing the team, but I'm not hearing of any immediate concerns. That's not to say that there isn't anything, but there's nothing that I'm hearing from local officers about that area. And we do have a dedicated housing officer I was with this evening, actually, is on the estate now, actually just gone to do some calls before. So yeah.
So, and we haven't had any complaints in the 16 months I've been in.
So
The only point I'll make on that is, when we put the Scansers pitch there, the bungalow next to it hadn't been built, it wasn't even built, right? And we put the Scansers pitch a good distance away from the other buildings. And then all of a sudden, there was a requirement to squeeze another bungalow in there, and they put it right next door to the Scansers pitch.
yeah,
But if that tenant wants to move it down at their cost, then I got no objection.
But you make a valid point.
Anybody else, folks?
Just a quick question, that is, that area of land, on the other side of the road from the Scansers pitch, etc.,
Yes.
was originally going to be phase 4 housing development.
That's why we
Is
call it
that
phase
still-
4, Bill, yes. So
Is that still a possibility, or is that?
we haven't looked at that. And I think there was a condition of planning, Phil was involved in that the green space had to be retained. So originally, before the, as I understand, again, I'm a housing person, not a development person, as I understand, development has to have a certain area of green space. And at the time the properties were remodeled, if you like, or rebuilt, it was considered there was adequate green space. However, subsequently, to comply with new regulations, that we have to retain the existing green space areas because of that requirement. So yeah, so originally there was planning permission for 29 properties there. And originally they were going to be low cost home ownership. That was the time of so that obviously remained in place for a period of 10 years, and then that lapsed. Hence we went to develop what we call the laterally the two special needs bungalows. So.
I'm just defending these community gardens, you said.
Yes, yeah, no, yeah. There's no plans, but
Okay, no other questions? Thank you, Brendan.
so okay.
We'll discuss it a bit further
Yeah,
later on.
and we can keep in touch if we.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
I'll come back to council if that's still okay for full council and give a bit more detail. Sorry, your name?
Kelly.
Kelly. There we go. That's fine. Okay, thank you.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you, Brendan.
Off to the fire station. I keep saying, I need to retire and I must leave it, but it gets you and you. When Rich said, do you need to go? I was on 2 miles to say, yes.
I've still got that lovely letter at home that Lembit Opic sent us after the last meeting up there.
Oh, there we are. There we are. Thank you all anyway.
Okay, thank you.
Good night. Cheerio. See you. Bye. Bye. Bye.
Okay, let's get back. We're going now to the item 4, minutes and matters arising. Very sure that they are appendix A, isn't it? Is it? Sorry? B. Sorry. Yeah. Page 1. Page 2. Page 3. Page 4. Page 5. Page 6. Page 7. Page 8. No questions?
Happy to propose that we accept them.
Thank you, Bill. Seconded by Kelly.
Is that what you say?
Those in favour? You show. 1, 2, 3. How many go there? 4, 5, 6. Yeah, that's unanimous, I think.
Well, I'll abstain, Phil, because unfortunately I missed that meeting. I didn't realise it was Wednesday. I thought it was still Tuesday.
Do I look surprised?
Yeah.
That comes to all of it, I mean, pretty video.
Some earlier than others.
To be fair, when I first
Yeah.
moved here, I missed so many appointments because your calendars are set up differently than the states. Yeah.
Any matters arising from those minutes, folks? No? Okay, I'm not gonna give you too long because we're gonna hell of a lot to get through tonight. Item 5, land and buildings, general update, Paul.
Right, good evening. Yeah, going straight off, in the regards to the bookings in the town hall, we had a few cancellations this month, which basically mainly meant we had the regular week-to-week bookings, i.e. yogas, bingos, the hubs and so forth. We did have two big events in the town, starting with the carnival, which from our side of it, I thought went really well. All stores well positioned and set up in good time. Obviously the bins rented, regular occasions, field was litter picked, and everything was all clean and tidy when we left there. And I'm sure everyone had a good time who did go to that. Followed by the Continental Market, which has just been and gone. In this event, I worked closely with Martin from Powys County Council, who does the street bins. Between him and his team and us, we kept the main street as clean as we possibly could. Bins were rented at regular intervals from Friday through to Sunday evening, which myself and Alex finished off Sunday evening, and a final litter pick up and down the street. The only bits we couldn't get were the bits that close under the stalls before they pack away. But Martin had very kindly organised the road sweep. It's been early Monday morning. When I came to work, the street looked pretty clean, so that was quite good. I liaised with the market organiser, obviously providing the radar key for his security staff who were on site all evening to make sure they had washing and toilet facilities. A very nice email received off him as well, so that was nice. Moving on to the town hall, I've had the glass has been replaced in the market windows, and we've obviously waited for the putty to cure. The putty has now been painted today. Managed to get my hand on some paint, thankfully, so I didn't want to spend £60 on a big tub for a couple of lengths of beading. But yeah, no cost to us. I managed to get just enough to finish the job off, so that's ready. The honours boards, mayoral board and community board is in the process. I met with Ben last week or the week before, and he's measured up for names, etc., and had a list of the winners, and so I'm just waiting on that coming through. We had an emergency light fail. First set of stairs up to the gents. That is going to be replaced this Friday. Obviously, that came to light when I did my monthly check this month. And I've organised an extra CO2 extinguisher. Basically, this was picked up by our annual risk assessment where we charge our batteries. So that will be dropped off at the same time as the emergency light getting done. Parks and open spaces, the cutting rota continues, although the grass has slowed down a hell of a lot with this heat we've had. It's just the little wispy bits that make everywhere look untidy, but we're managing to get around them quite quickly, albeit in extreme heat. And hopefully with the grass slowed down, we'll start putting pressure washer in the van and cleaning equipment as we go around. The tractor and cutting bed has all been serviced, which is cutting very nice at this moment in time, so that's been done. We had a tour around with Kelly. Kelly's been and seen everywhere that we look after. And believe it or not, the pre-season friendlies start next week, so we will be marking pitches by the end of this week. It seems to come around quicker and quicker every year. And I've been in contact with the Canal and River Trust. It was actually quite lucky because they had a meeting here a week or two back where the bloke I needed to speak to was here. In regards to knotweed down the canal, there is quite a few clumps of it, and this is starting to spread over into Miser Dray, and as I'm sure you're aware, it's a bit of a nightmare to get rid of. So he's assured me that will be passed to the relevant teams and be dealt with. In general, we've had the DFIBs, have had their annual service, and they're all in good health, which is great. And the 6-monthly Lola test for the change in places, toilet and hoist has been booked in and will take place, all being well, this coming Monday. And that's it for me, Chair.
Any questions, folks? Bill?
Yep. I had a long conversation with Martin the other day, and I would just like us to formally record our appreciation of him and those he works with, and of our team in the excellent way in which they work together. Certainly, from the point of view of the continental market, it couldn't have gone better. Second is just mentioning Japanese knotweed. You're aware there is still a certain amount at the allotment site behind the hospital. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, thanks, Phil. This is a general observation, really, and it's probably not got a lot to do with us, and certainly don't want to add to Paul's responsibilities in any way. But given the excessive temperatures we've had lately, and the fact that we do have areas of grassland in town quite proximate to housing, have we considered the possibility of wildfires and what happens if we do have one? But somewhere like the Wiggly Path, which is very close to housing. I guess the local.
It's not ours.
No, I know it isn't, but as the town council, are we liaising with the fire service, make sure that they've got the plan in place in case we do get something like that? I know it's not likely and it's not our responsibility, but I think we need to be more aware of these things as we get these spells of.
We don't liaise with the fire service. We do liaise with Paris Estates, who have had a spate of 4 fires in the last week. However, not wildfires. Started by
deliberately.
Someone set fire to a tree. The most mindless vandalism you can get, and especially in this weather, it can spread. Last year we actually did messaging for Paris Estates on the fact that barbecues in the hot weather is a risk. That's why we don't have anywhere in our 65 acres that we allow people to have barbecues. But again, we can only look after what we're responsible for.
And it doesn't need to be a barbecue, someone could just toss a cigarette down in it.
Yes, and that's why we've got
Yeah.
cigarette, just, bins around the town hall and other places that we have, the bins have got stub points on, we do what we can to make sure people are responsible, but again, it's a personal responsibility, isn't it? To make sure that, especially in this weather, that, one spark and, yeah.
Okay, any more comments?
But to be fair, our spaces are cut down, which means that fire can't spread in overgrown areas. I would say that people with overgrown grass is more likely to have issues as opposed to ours, which are completely cut away. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Rossford votes. You've got a file of what Rossford votes. I'm fairly sure you'll all have studied them 2 or 3 times. Anna, yes. Paul, any comments?
Only to say that these parks are improving all the time. There's still a lot of work to do, certainly not out of the woods. There is nothing dangerous in these parks. Obviously things like fencing are due to be done in the process and when funds allow. But no, I mean, we've got a couple of media mates, which the ones that might be able to dealt with straight away as soon as they come back. And other things for equipment which is pre-regulation. So yeah, I'm quite happy really.
Bill?
Yeah, you were saying to me this morning, Paul, that how useful it is just to have a different set of eyes looking over the things that you see every day. And we need to see these Rosspool reports as something that is a help to us rather than in any sense a problem. And these, I think, having looked through them, look pretty good to me.
Thank you.
Anybody else?
Nick's got his hand up.
Oh, Nick? Yep.
Yeah, thanks, Chair. Yeah, usual thing. I think our operational team do a great job on the supervision and maintenance of our playgrounds. Yeah, we need to get Rossborough in, which we do, but there's never seems to be any huge issues. So yeah, I just like to propose a vote of thanks to all our guys that put so much work into it.
Okay,
Thank you very much, Nick.
David France?
Thank you, Chair. Yeah, I just wanted to quickly ask how everyone's getting on with the heat, as obviously, we're having hotter spells than we've ever had previously. This doesn't not apply to the staff in the office too. I just wondered if there'd been any, measures you're having to take to stay cool, etc., etc.
Plenty of drinks, plenty of breaks, plenty of sunscreen. Be sensible, basically.
Glad you're looking after yourself.
Okay. Anybody else? Okay, thank you. Where am I now? Storage and waiting drink hall. Oh, this is the cricket club, isn't it?
Yes.
This is
Yeah, okay, are we deal on that or even?
Yeah, no.
No, okay. Okay. Scott, what's your use?
Well, you've had Russell's pitch. It's up to you. You've got the request in front of you. They want to put a container next to where our shed is, which means actually in the grand scheme of things, it does blend in particularly well next to the shed because the shed is also made of a corrugated metal material. But it's entirely up to you. I've got no.
Well,
Yeah, it's entirely understandable that they should want the storage and they should have the storage. The only thing is, we've always made the point that we don't want to see containers on that land. I'm wondering if there is some way, if we do grant permission for it, that it could be clad or disguised in some way. Because this issue has come up before, and we've always said no. We don't want to see those sort of structures on that land.
Well, we've always had the concern that once we allow one container, we'll end up with 5 or 10 or 20 of dotted around by different clubs. And that is a real concern. So it's how you disguise them or whatever is important, isn't it? Anybody else? Nick?
Yeah, I agree with Phil Owens that yeah, the bare metal shipping containers aren't very handsome. And again, I refer back to when I worked with the National Trust, we use them all the time on our countryside for security stuff with the shrouded locks and all. But we did clad them in timber and steam them to blend in with the natural environment, which seemed to work very well. But again, I would like to say that I really am 100% behind trying to promote sport in the town. Not one particular sport, but all the sports over the town. Rugby, football, cricket, bowls, all the rest of it, children's sports, female sports. But I don't want to do anything to try and hinder it. As long as it's aesthetically pleasing, that to me, that's absolutely fine. We need to drag Welshpool sports into the 21st century.
Kelly?
I was gonna say about blending into your surroundings, there's multiple ways you can do it. For instance, if you go down to, and please forgive me, I don't know the name of it, I just call it the nature reserve, but it's by it's by Sidoli's. When you go down by Potter's and you turn right, there's a nature reserve. You know what I'm talking about, right? Yeah.
Past Tempest Lane.
Yeah, past Tempest Lane. There was an artist, I think his name is Valentine, and he painted 2 of the containers down there, and they're gorgeous. I mean, they're absolutely gorgeous. So you could ask him to maybe paint the containers to blend in with the surroundings. You could also go ahead and plant some type of hedgery or shrubbery that would then eventually grow enough to hide it. Or you can also do, so we did it at home. You just take 2x4s and you make it look like a shed, and then you just paint it. The cheap version.
Okay. Any other comments, Bill?
Yeah, I was interested to hear Russell say that one of the reasons why they need this container is the huge increase in number of young people coming to play cricket. This is certainly something we want to see, and we do need to encourage that. I agree that what's put there has got to blend in as well as it can, but we don't want to be the thin end of the chisel that means that everyone wants the same thing. But I going on what Kelly was just saying, I was in Rugby a few weeks ago for a family event and saw some containers there which had been beautifully painted by someone with pictures of flowers and birds and things. And you know, there are various things you can do to make something look better than the simple thing it starts off as being.
Well, can I give you my honest impression of this? We have always had policy in this council that containers are not permitted on the Maestro. Then we had a situation about what, 4 years ago, 4 or 5 years ago, where the rugby club asked for a container on the top side by the canal. We gave permission for that for 1 year. And then we extended that by 1 year to 2 years. It's still there. Nobody's done anything about it. There's nothing other. Now, I really think the first thing that the council should look at is, okay, and I appreciate, and we have to appreciate, all these clubs, organisations, they have to have somewhere to store something. But I do think that council should be asked to agree that any club down there can have one container by agreement with the council. Because otherwise, the danger is that, one sports club could have 10 there, and another one have 1 there. It'll just go out of hand if we don't have some rules on it. But at the end of the day, they do need some space. They're gonna need space, and it does rain when it's not supposed to, on rust material, machines and that. So I think, that's one point we should put to council, Mr. Clark, that, the council want to put a limit on it, for any club. Otherwise, you will have next year you'll have another club come in, and then next year you'll have another club come in. As long as they're all one, they don't come again. Or it might, it depends what council says. They might say they're all up 2 or whatever, I don't know. But I think it should be discussed by council, that one. Right? And that would give us, a bedrock of where we go whenever we get these queries. Right?
David first.
Chris Davis.
Yeah, thank you, Chair. Actually, Chair's exactly right. It was 1 year, and then it was extended by us, courtesy by us, for a further year, and then we've been ignored. Everything, it's still there. Nobody's come to us and say it's the end of our tenure for the metal shed. We did at one time decide that it would be a good idea to put a brick structure up, whether it's for injuries to rugby players or football players or something. But the structure was going to be half brick and then half wood windows and whatever. But it was certainly going to look better than a cargo crate. And the chair is right by saying if you get 1, you will have 2, and then you will have 3, and then you will have 4, and it will go on and on, because we've already created a precedent. Let's not get down that hole again.
Bill?
You've got
David.
Sorry, David.
And then the council.
Yes, I'd just like to welcome Councillor Meredith's comment in terms of if we do go down that route, making the most of it, showing initiative and exploring the affordability of getting mural or murals on container. And I'd like to back up what Councillor Meredith said. For those who haven't been down to Devon Farm Pond Industrial Estate Nature Reserve, they're transformed from a net negative aesthetically to a strongly net positive by those murals.
Where do we go now? Anybody else?
I think Nick wants to speak.
Nick? Yeah. Go on, Nick.
I would just like to comment, okay, they had permission to put it there for 1 year, it was there for 2 years on agreement, and now it's slightly been, I don't know how many years over the agreement, but what derogatory effect has it had on the town and its sports facilities? Is it such a big issue? I just find this whole conversation quite astounding, really. We're here, hopefully, to try and support the sports pitches of the town, not to argue about somebody's had a sports container over there for more than 2 years, which they shouldn't have had. So what? How many complaints have we had about that container? Thank you.
As far as I know, none, Nick. And for everyone's factual information, the council gave them a license to do so, to put the building up in 2018, which was extended until 2020. So now we're 6 years on after it. We're 8 years on since it was put there, and to my knowledge, there's been no complaint.
Ellie.
I just have 2 questions. One,
Thank you, Tom.
where is the container with this rugby club thing? I'm trying to picture where it is. I don't know where the container.
It's next to the rugby stand.
Was you there at the carnival? Was you at the carnival?
Yes.
Right, do you know where the arena was?
Is that the lorry?
Well, that's, yeah, the lorry bed,
Yeah,
right? That is the rugby stand. It is 20 yards to your right. Big
No, of
metal.
course, she's asking where the rugby container is, so
Right at the very bottom.
there.
So instead of turning into my dream, you can go all the way down to the car park at the end. It's on there.
But again, just to draw you back to the conversation, we're not talking about the rugby container. The agenda item is the cricket, so
Yeah.
don't
No,
get,
I just wanted to
don't
know.
digress into the rugby container. That's a separate issue.
I was just trying to visualize and be on the same page with everyone.
Well, yeah, but I personally would prefer to take this lock, stock and barrel to council. And council say whether to make a ruling on what happens when we get these requests. Because otherwise we're stuck to old minutes and old decisions and this, that and the other. And I'd like to see that eased up a bit, if you like. Hey,
I like to propose that we approve the cricket club's request, but I also think that we need to lay groundwork going forward as to how they're maintained. Because as you said, you don't want, you know, one club saying, I need one container, and then 2 years down the road, you know, another club, oh, I need 2 containers, because then you're just gonna have container. And they need to be maintained, like, they need to look decent, nice, you know, as Mayor Rowell said, blend in. But they do need a place to store their equipment, and they need somewhere safe as well. So I do, and we do, as Councillor Howell said, we do want to support the clubs, you know, to the best of our ability. So I think by moving forward, we're aiding in that support, if that makes sense.
okay, well, sorry.
I'm just really supporting that. I think it sounds to me as if we need a policy on storage facilities on Master Day Sports Field, just so that we enable our clubs to have what they need, but without it getting out of hand.
That's right, now, you see, I'm looking at it and saying, well, we've already let the rugby club have one. Now, this is the cricket club, so that they can have one, but I would like to see council, because at the end of the day, whatever decision we make, council can overrule it,
Yes,
right?
yeah.
So I'd like to see council put in some rules down to say it's 1 or 10 or 20 or 5 or whatever, each club can have. So
I think
Your committee is responsible for that. Do you want to give council a recommendation? Or
yes,
so
I would like to propose that we give council a recommendation that each club can have one container to for whatever reason they like, but it must be in keeping with any rules that we put on it. In other words, if we wanted a particular colour or a particular, then we have the right to stipulate what rules there are.
and you have to approve them each time.
Sorry?
And you have to approve them each time.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. So it's, I mean, that's what I would put in.
Who seconded that?
Who seconded? You seconded,
Well,
Bill?
but Kelly probably wanted to say.
Well, no,
before I do.
Kelly's proposal was to approve the cricket club's request,
Yeah,
their request.
Yeah.
What you're proposing is slightly different. You're proposing a bigger policy. So do you want to take Kelly's proposal first, which is the cricket club's individual request?
Well, what I'd like to do is to put, of the two good recommendations.
they've got-
Well, the two recommendations, yeah.
Well, let me finish. The two recommendations go to council, but mine first, because that sets out the rules, if you like. And then, because it'd be stupid if Kelly's went to council, and then the next one is mine saying they can have one, and the council turns out to say they can't have any.
Okay, vote on yours first then. So you proposed it, Bill seconded it.
Yeah.
Vote on yours first.
So the proposal is regarding recommendation to council that all clubs down there are allowed to have one container. And that's it, and they must conform to our rules and regulations. That's the proposal on the table. I have a second.
And that it has to be individually.
Yeah,
each time.
I've got one club, one per club, subject to the conditions and consent of council.
Yeah. Okay, I see seconded. Those in favour, please.
Yeah, can I quickly ask
David had his
before
hand
we
up.
vote?
3,
Phil, David had his hand up for a question before you started
Oh,
voting.
David, were you wanting to speak?
If I could, Chair, before we vote, to me, both motions seem substantially quite similar in that you're saying all clubs could get one container, and that Councillor Meredith is saying that we'll accept the specific club's request. My understanding would be that your motion is functionally to accept the club's request, albeit with these conditions that we've added, and then in future to accept other clubs' requests if they are made to have containers. So am I right that more or less these two motions are the same?
No,
No, I think, David, is that Phil's motion sets out a framework of when that you would give your consent and conditions, and Kelly's is about giving that consent in this particular case and the conditions in which you give that consent. So one is about the frame, one is the individual request.
So my point maybe is that they don't contradict each other, though, in that we could pass both of them and they would contradict each other.
Complement each other.
they're two
Yeah, I thought they
complementary motions.
complimented that.
Yeah.
Okay, Bill?
Yeah, I was just going to say, as Councillor Chris Davis said, I'm wary of creating a precedent. I mean, I would prefer to see us deal with all applications on their merits rather than just grant a blanket permission effectively for everybody to put a container. I mean,
That's not what we're doing.
Well-
We're putting laying the land out that they can, if they have a need to, ask us if they can have a container.
subject to us giving permission.
Yes.
Yes,
That's part of the.
Subject to conditions and consent, okay.
Right, okay.
so it's a case by
Okay.
case basis.
That's the proposal, folks. Can you show again, please? Bill,
Sorry.
Kelly, Lee, David, that's unanimous. Thank you very much.
And I'm happy to second Kelly's proposal as regards to the club.
You got that?
So Kelly's proposal, you have the vote on it. Kelly's proposal is to approve the request of the cricket club, subject to any conditions. Do you want to put any condition on it, that it's in keeping with the surroundings? I don't want to
Yeah.
put words in your mouth, but you tell me what conditions you
It
want.
needs to.
You can ask them to clad it, you can put whatever you want.
My own view would be, and I just wondered.
Well,
whether-
it's Kelly's proposal, so isn't it?
Yeah, I know, but what I'm gonna say is this, would it be better to leave that proposal to our next meeting when we know what council has agreed to this, that and the other, and yes, we can do this.
I wouldn't, because if they want to jump on building it ASAP, then our what our consent is holding them back. I mean,
Well, we're not meeting till September, are we?
yeah, exactly.
We're not meeting till September.
That's a long
Yeah,
time.
that's right, yeah.
I mean, and school holidays are coming up and,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
if they really need the storage that badly, I'd like to say, go for it.
Yeah, it's a long time between now and September.
It is, yeah.
And I have some anxieties, Mr. Chair, that if you've got a cricket roller weighing up to a ton,
Yeah,
lying around in the open, and some of the idiots that can sometimes cause trouble over there got hold of it, they could do a lot of damage with it.
Oh, we had
They already
a
have.
big deal there a few years ago, didn't we?
We've already seen it, we've
Yeah.
already seen that.
Yeah. Okay, you
I
got
was
that?
saying,
You know, so it's back to Kelly. Kelly's proposal is to
Yeah.
approve it, but what conditions do you?
I was going to say it needs to be maintained. If we feel at any point that it's, you know, not meeting the standards, then
No, but for us, what is the standard?
for us, I'm so sorry.
No, but for the motion, you
Yes.
can't just say keeping in standards, because everyone.
Oh,
has a
keeping
different-
in standards.
Everyone has a different definition of what standard is.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
We have to set the rules that need to be.
Yes, I see.
So, I mean,
I would like it to blend in with the surroundings, whether that means they paint a mural on it, they use hedge, you know, some kind of shrubbery to cover up the sides or something. But don't leave it in plain sight as the photo showed on the phone.
Okay.
Because it's just, it's, I don't wanna say hideous, but to me, it's like putting a giant X on a map saying, steal me. Because nobody goes back there. Does that make sense?
I would, just to add on, I would suggest you do exactly the same thing as you did with the last request that they gave, and you give Paul the permission to agree the final.
Yeah.
Yeah, to say that and come back again.
Yeah.
That worked.
That would be good.
Okay,
So yes, I'd be happy to second that.
ready?
Just need
Okay.
to vote. You need to vote.
Oh, right, yeah. Please show. 1, 2, 3, none of us here. And Chris, you voted?
Yeah,
Are you for it?
no,
Okay. Are you against it or are you,
I'm abstaining, thank you, Chair.
okay, 1% from the rest of it. Thank you. Okay, here we go now, 854, town hall lift.
Paul, do you want to add anything on this? But you've got the quote in front of you. Look, the platform list outside is, I would just say, Paul, 30 years old.
It's, yeah, 30 years old.
30 years old. It has in it something called a drive nut, which engages, because it's a platform lift, it kind of like grabs the nut, and that's how it moves up and down. And the drive nut is dragging and causing it to fail. So it is out of action at the moment. As you know, it's been out of action for about 2 weeks. Here is the quotation from Otis, who are the only person pretty sure that can actually repair it. Because Otis bought, it was provided by Pickering Lifts. Otis bought Pickering's. We're tied into a maintenance contract with Otis. That is the quote. It is eye-wateringly big. You do not have the budget for that individual quote. It's up to you to make the decision that, look, the difficulty of this is chicken and egg. In 3-4 years' time, this building hopefully will be transformed and have 3 new lifts. Do you want to throw £15,000 of taxpayers' money at a lift that will be removed in 3 years? That is the honest question. If you do, then of course we'll get it repaired. But if you don't, then we will keep it out of action and we will use the rear lift. We are fortunate that we have 2 lifts in the building.
Yeah. Bill, who's first?
Me just on it. I suggest that we should at least wait until we and see whether we actually get the grant.
Bill?
Yeah, I agree with that. It would be ludicrous, I think, to expend that sort of money on a repair. And I have to say, that lift, in all the time I've known it, has never really worked terribly well. I mean, I can't understand why we're not after Otis and saying it was never fit for purpose, because as Paul, I'm sure, will agree, it's always been problematic.
Yeah.
But I certainly don't think we should spend that sort of money when we may be replacing the whole shebang within a few years.
So the recommendation from here is that we close it down, shut it off. So
Sorry.
Everyone online is waiting to speak.
Yeah.
Oh,
There's
right.
hands everywhere.
Right. Chris?
Yeah, thank you, Chair. To be honest, this lift is not working as much as it's working, it seems to me. It's all right breaking down and going down for a day or a couple of hours or a couple of days. But this thing has been broken for months. Not just this time. Times before and times after. We might as well not spend a penny on it because it's not going to go, well, it's not going anywhere. And just use the other lift to use for the town hall upstairs.
Okay, Nick Owls?
Yeah, this is my sort of profession, basically. Some of you will know that the disabled lift has been out of action for some time. And last Thursday up the hub, we had a little bit of a glitch where the goods lift, which we've been using regularly, also had a bit of a pack up because something to do with the hydraulic pressure of the oil and all the rest of it. But it was a wake-up call, the fact that we have 2 lifts in the building and neither of them were working. And at the end of the hub, we had at least 5-6 people that couldn't really descend the stairs without the use of the lift or an evac chair. It was a good exercise because it proved to us that we need to do a bit of a disabled access, an evacuation plan, actually, because it wasn't good. It wasn't, thank goodness it was a wake-up exercise and nobody was hurt. But we do need to look at this sort of thing. I've said this many times, that when we do, so one of the things I said to Richard last Thursday was it's a good exercise because 2 lifts had packed up, which, okay, fine. But in the event of an emergency evacuation, neither of those lifts could be used in a fire situation anyway, because they're not fire protected lifts, either of them. So the only way we have of evacuating the assembly room for people who have severe mobility problems or wheelchair users would be an evacuation lift. And yeah, I think it really needs some severe looking at.
Okay, anybody else?
Dave Francis.
Sorry?
Dave Francis, I just.
David Trant.
Yes, I'm in agreement with councillors who suggested that it's best to wait until we have more information in terms of the money available to us before committing further money now out of townspeople's pockets. However, I wanted to ask, maybe my questions directed at the operations manager, who's the biggest expert in the room when it comes to the day-to-day practicability of using the secondary lift, or maybe Councillor Howells, who also has experience. How feasible is using the other lift, given of course that we are then down to 1 lift and that we don't have a backup lift, which isn't an ideal situation?
Well, basically, up until last week, we've never had an issue with that back lift. So it was more of a surprise to anyone that we did have a problem. All I know is it went slightly below the level, something like Nick said, something to do with hydraulic pressure. The engineer came out and it was working when the engineer got here, albeit very slowly. And as a precaution, we thought, well, certainly I thought, better not let anyone go in it just in case it does break down. And when the engineer left here, we had to wait about an hour for him to turn up. It seemed, touch wood, it seems to be working fine, has worked fine since.
Yeah.
Thank you.
We discovered that the plant room where the lift hydraulic is kept was warmer than we'd like, and we think the viscosity of the oil had gone slightly. There's a perfect temperature for the oil to sit in. If it's too hot, it's too thin. If it's too cold, it's too thick, and that was the issue.
Yeah, pressure can reduce if the
Yeah,
metal.
the difficulty is I think Dave has already touched on this. When we have 2 lifts and 1 breaks, we still got the other one. So if we don't have the other one, we are. And when a lift does break, then we are kind of stuck, as Nick said. And you know, we've already sorted a solution for the future. He's right. It was a wake up call. Standing in the hub and. Yeah,
Well, who wants to put proposals out?
Look, I think Bill and Phil and people have said defer it till after September, and you can make that decision without going to council. You can make that resolution. It doesn't have to go to council. You can decide to defer it to a later.
Why are you deferring to December?
September, because that's when we find out if we've got the money or not.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
But that was.
Is that the
paraphrasing
decision of you all? Sensible one anyway, because we won't be able to, we won't have any information before then. Okay. Nick, you voting? Yeah, okay. David, yeah. Okay, that's unanimous. Chris, I can't see you.
He's not to sell himself.
Yeah.
Sunday, can see.
So that's exactly the way we'll take that one. Town hall electrical.
Yeah, so well, this is a difficult one. I think this issue has been before you before, and the answer that Paul got then was, let's wait and see if we get the money for the town hall. However, so our electrical inspection condition report, EICR, identified a number of major failures in our electrical system in the town hall, and they're rated C1, which is the highest risk you can be rated. And this issue was discussed by you previously, and it was decided that we would pick it up in the consultation. This stuff can't wait for that to happen. You do need to take some action on it. And it is primarily the distribution boards in the ballroom area. So we've got 3 quotes, as we're required to. We've got a quote from a company, a guy that we usually use for 4,500. You've got a quote from another electrical company that did a job for us last year, which is a similar price, 4,537. This is all excluding that, and then you've got another one which is 11,000. But you know, this stuff can't wait for the transformation project. You know, we've got responsibility to the town, to the people using this building, that the most severe risks will get fixed, and we cannot keep passing them down the road. So you need to decide this evening to agree the quotes and move forward with fixing the issues, particularly the distribution board in the building. It's got to an unsafe point.
Right. Any comments, Bill?
I propose we go with the people who've done work for us before. Down some good quotes. I don't think we can. You're quite right. You know, if anything was to transpire, which was the result of faulty electrics, and we have had this in front of us, we would be toast, wouldn't we?
Yeah, you know, unfortunately, it's my name on the top of the document. I need you to do something about it. You know, it's not good that we've left it this long. You know, we do need to get it. And unfortunately, the situation in the town hall is, once you go digging, we don't know what else people need to be required as well. Sorry for just stealing thunder. So, you know, it could cost slightly more than that. But we know that the one distribution board in the ballroom area needs a new 3-phase distribution board, anti-surge protection, fire rating, incorporating RC, you know, those type of things, single phase distribution board on the stage, new lights in the kitchen, including emergency. Those are priority works that need to be doing. How old is the EIC? How old is the document?
2023, I think it was.
23. So another one will be due this year. Is it 3 years?
3 years or 5 years. The age of the building, it's advanced for 3 years.
You know, we want to do this before the next inspection. Clearly, we don't want to be hanging around.
Well,
And that's the only one.
The second what Bill says on that one anyway. Any other proposals?
That's it. That proposal includes the violent from.
That's right. Yeah. So we're going to have council for environment to top up the budget line to be able to pay for the works.
Yeah.
We do.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
So those in favour, please show. Wait, that's unanimous. Yeah. Thank you, folks. 6 services. Which one is markets? Who's coming in on that?
You've got the minutes from the meeting. I'll answer any questions I can answer. I wasn't at the meeting, but
Nobody.
I can ask him if you have any questions. Nick was at the meeting. You were at the market traders meeting, Nick. This is the minutes of the market traders meeting. There was a few actions that came out of it. One of them was to put a new high visibility marker on the step to the change room, which the ops team have done. So that's been completed.
Yeah, sorry, my mic was off, Rich.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, I was at the market traders meeting, and after being slightly chastised for speaking my mind about the market, I offer no further comment.
Yeah, look, Nick made some very good points at the meeting. We appreciate his thoughts.
Yeah.
The other one, they had their concerns about the farmers market, which I think were transmitted to the events and the planning committee, and I think they've agreed now to stop progress on that, which is I think is the right action. That was what we talked about last meeting or meeting before, is that, you know, we want to put a farmers market in a market that are paying tenants, and we need to protecting our tenants over other proposals. But other than that, you've got the minutes. I'll answer any questions if you want.
And I will just add, Town Clerk, that the market traders are very happy that the farmers market has been put on a back burner, because they were worried about them about it in impacting on the people that sell veg, etc., etc. So that's a bit of a plus for us, actually.
Yeah.
Oh, just to say, along with the warning stripes on the steps, the market traders wanted, which has been done. I thought, seeing as the paint was out, I'd take the opportunity of doing all the warning steps in the town hall. So they've all been done. I want to get to the tourist information to do them steps, but I ran out of time, unfortunately. It's all right.
Just make the point that somehow Appendix K did not feature me.
Oh. You can have my copy. Don't know why, it's definitely in the printed versions, but.
Yeah, it's not in. It goes straight from J to L.
Are there any decisions to be?
No, it's just.
Okay. 6-2, the hub, June 2026.
Yeah, you've got the appendix L all in front of you.
Yeah.
The hub is doing really well. I thought it might have been a bit quieter in June. Been so hot. Isn't it, Ben?
Well, it's been slightly quieter, but not
Still
not
very
as much as
nice.
one might have thought. Yeah.
I think I remarked to Nick the other day that the warm hub has become a cool hub during the summer.
Yes.
I think it does, yeah.
Anything else on that?
Questions?
Nick, anything you want to say about the hub?
No, we're still plodding on. We have, for those members of staff or councillors who would like to pop their head in tomorrow, we do have another cake day, as I call them, because it was Morag's birthday earlier this week, and Morag, well, is at least 50% of running the hub, and she works extremely hard. And I phoned her today and said, is there a particular cake that you would like me to get from Sidoli's? And she said, yes, I'd love a carrot cake. And I managed to get one. So if anybody would like to join the hub tomorrow, there will be Sidoli's.
Thank you.
I think this is the fourth consecutive cake week, which is going. There are always things to celebrate.
I did enjoy, I have to admit, I did enjoy the visual image of Steve Witherden, our MP, taking cake to Councillor Pritchard, who was in his car outside. I liked the personal service that he gave when he came to visit the house.
Absolutely.
So, well done, Nick, for inviting him to come and see them.
Lovely fellow, lovely fellow.
Just say as well that we are following up with DBSs in line with the volunteering policy with the hub volunteers. Wendy's dealing with that at the moment. And I think Dave helped arrange the Steve Witherden visit as well. You've had it, come back.
Dave France has his hand raised, Mr. Chair.
Sorry?
Yes.
Dave has his hand raised.
Dave France, yeah.
Thank you, Chair. I am very glad to hear that we are streamlining, let's say, volunteer policy. That's very reassuring. In terms of a volunteer that I'm sure we will welcome back, I do understand that our MP is keen to do a full session shift in the hub during the upcoming parliamentary summer recess, where he will be with you for the entire time, Nick. So it's something I hope to look forward to.
Oh, you can't beat Dave, you can't beat Steve washing up.
He's a natural.
Yeah,
More cake, I reckon.
okay. 6-3,
Yeah.
allotments.
The allotments at the hospital site, there's only 2 spare ones. Plots, they're all gone, otherwise if anybody wants them. The Burgess land, there's more plots available there. We do need more help to sign up and use their land at this site. The Burgess land site is currently a bit of a mess. So if anybody feels they want to have a dig or let some anger off, please go up there and dig a plot. Dig the grass off it, the weeds. Paul and his team were so kind, what do you call them, Paul, the little blue, you know, to the pass. They've done the pass for me because they were all over the one as well.
Can I just ask, Paul, do we have a rotavator?
No.
No,
No?
I'm hoping Nick will do a lot of it in when it's built. But the issue then is I don't know if we'll get it through the gate or not. I'm guessing a bit with that one. Shall we take a bit out if needed? Yeah, it's needs a good tidy up. I will absolutely.
Yeah, I think Wendy makes the good point that if actually we had more tenants at the Burgess site, that it would look tidier.
Yeah.
But more tenants means it would be more tidy because it's being kept more. We do have spare ones there, but actually we have just leased a few there.
We have.
So, you know,
Probably
it's positive.
5 have gone, haven't they, there?
Yeah, you know, considering that when we started the year, it was 0. So, you know, we are trying new things, and you agreed last month to give them a toolbox, which will give some parity to the service at the hospital site. But we're just continuing to try and get more people to sign up for allotments. We know there's lots of flats in Welshpool, people that have gardens. Our plea to them would be, if you want to come and do some gardening, get yourself an allotment plot. It's only £25 half a plot, £50 for a whole plot.
Try and get out there, put it out to them.
Okay. Okay, 6-4, community fridge.
The community fridge. We haven't received a lot from the end of the month. It's down. We don't collect from Starbucks or Costa anymore. I have been on the phone to Vicky from Newtown from Food Surplus. She is trying to arrange a meeting, but getting hold of her, it's a nightmare. I've also been to Morrison's. I'm now waiting for them to get back to me. Anybody got any idea?
When you say, I mean, we still, I still go into Costa.
Yes, you still go in, but
Just don't actually have it.
No.
Yeah.
Which is good in a way, because no, I don't mean it like that, but at least they're not. They do these good bags. You know, so they're not throwing the food away, are they? I think they've tightened their belts as well on how much they buy in and stock in.
I personally think it's a big white element. I think there's nothing going on with it there now. There's nothing in there. The fridges are empty. I don't understand it, to be honest. Nick Owls.
Pardon me, at Alison Davis's request, I addressed the supermarkets, and Aldi, to be honest, weren't really interested because they have their big community basket where people contribute to the food hub, etc., etc. I spoke to Morrison's and Aldi and Tesco, which used to be quite useful contributors to the hub, which they no longer are, to be honest. Yeah, so they basically said to me, sorry, but we're heavily involved with the Newtown Food Surplus, which is quite a big organization now. So they really weren't interested in being involved with the community fridge. Possibly the community fridge could liaise with the Newtown Food Hub, get involved in that side of things, but I don't know. Sorry, the community fridge is not my baby, to be honest. I've tried. I haven't been much help.
When the community fridge was set up by council, we liaised then with Newtown Food Surplus, who were very willing to work with us, and Wendy's now on the case back with them. But it is right that food from Welshpool Tesco goes to Newtown, and the idea was that we agreed with Newtown Food Surplus that that operation would ease off and come into the community fridge as our capacity of volunteers expanded. But at the moment, we're not seeing that come to fruition from Newtown Food Surplus. And it does need to have to work with us because we've built up the volunteer base to be able to take on that source because our other sources have moved away. But we need them to kind of unlock that gate for us because they did agree originally that we could have Welshpool Tesco's surplus. But as Wendy said, she's trying to get a meeting with them.
I even asked, could we go on a couple of certain days and pick up? But she wouldn't hear it. So it's a meeting now.
So we are just waiting to meet.
Yeah, we are.
Could I suggest we take this up at the next meeting and we get some fuller information.
Yeah, Dave's got it.
Yeah,
It's only an update
Yes.
to you.
okay, yeah, thank you.
Dave wants to speak.
Yeah.
David,
Thank you, Chair. Very much welcome the work of Councillor David, Councillor Howells, and yourself, Wendy. I just wondered if A, there was a reason that Costa had given for withdrawing their
come on, David,
support.
please. David, can you put your camera on, please?
Bear with. There you go. You're very welcome. I know you like to see me share. I wondered if there was a reason that Costa had given for withdrawing their support, and furthermore, yeah, if there was any advice that Newtown Food Surplus could give us as the organizer of a fellow fellow organisation trying to do the same work. If they aren't able to redirect any of this town's food to this town, if they have any suggestions on how we could continue to provide that service in light of the disappointing withdrawal of support from Costa and Starbucks.
I'll just say in response to that Costa and Starbucks haven't withdrawn their support. They just don't have any food to give us at the end of the day. That's partly because they get rid of as much food as they can at whatever prices they can get, and partly because they're being more careful about what they buy in. The issue, I think, is that the community fridge can't operate just on what we get from a few cafes. It does need a supermarket to tie in order to be viable.
Like Newtown Surplus even pick up from Telford.
Yeah.
Telford.
The hypocrisy is that,
Yeah.
look, it's a positive that there's no surplus food because it means there is no surplus food going to landfill. The negative for us is there's no surplus food distributed. So it's a catch-22 situation.
Yeah.
But Wendy will keep trying.
Yeah, I'll keep coming.
Okay. 7-1 Town Hall transformation.
No update. Still waiting for September.
Sorry?
Still waiting for September, no update.
Okay. 7-2 Welshpool Town Centre improvement.
Just to say that the council last week you approved the quotation for the design work, and that company has accepted. So we're meeting on site, hopefully in the next couple of weeks to progress that forward.
Thank you. 7-3 changing places.
Paul, do you want to give an update?
Sorry?
Paul's update.
Yeah, just a quick one, really, just regards to the bins that we need.
Yeah, just to say that we've had the sink installed, haven't we now?
Yeah, well, the sink is done. I've got that to last month's meeting. We have actually bought a cupboard off for the bed sheets for the rise and fall bed. So that'll be going in as soon as I've made it up. It's flat pack in our workshop at the moment. And as you can see, we will be needing change it. We'll be needing a nappy bin and a sanitary bin in there.
So before you is the proposal from our existing collector of nappy and sanitary waste to add an additional bin in there. As you can see, the cost per month is, what is it? £80 a month. £961 a year. That'll be a 5-year contract. We just want to bring it to you because it's a 5-year contract and it's very long and yeah, but this stuff is not cheap. Those of you that deal with it's called offensive waste. This stuff is not cheap to dispose of. And obviously, in a changing places toilet, we're going to need the facility for people to be able to deposit waste of that nature. I don't know, Nick, have you got any thoughts?
Any other comments, Nick?
Oh, thank you, Town Clerk. We've discussed this thing so many times, and let's face it, if we've got a changing place which is catering for people with incontinency problems, etc., it's not rocket science to realise that you need sanitary bins, etc. And I mentioned it, I don't want to really go back to the previous Town Clerk. We discussed all this, and it was just totally ignored like anything else. And sorry, it really upsets me.
Okay, Chris Davis.
Yeah, thank you, Chair. To be honest, it sounds a bit on the expensive side. It we're talking about a nappy bin and a sanitary bin, and it's £961 a year.
Yeah, it's the collecting of the waste, Chris. It's 26 visits a year to collect the waste.
Yeah,
That's why
I did think about that. And when I worked at the hospital, we had someone coming round once a month to collect sanitary bins. Could we not make a deal with them that they come and do ours at the same time, sort of thing?
Well, we're already tied into a contract with our other sanitary bins. So
Okay.
I don't know if that provider will just come and pick up one, but again, that provider would be procured by Power Teacher Health Board, wouldn't they? To do all of their sanitary bins for site. So
it would indeed. It would indeed, but it'd be so much easier if they were coming to Welshpool anyway to get ours at the same time, I would suggest.
Provider, because they are one of the biggest providers in the UK. Those of you that go into disabled toilets will see Initials logo on their sanitary bins across the world. There's one in Starbucks in London. They are. But it is expensive. That's why it's come to you.
Yeah. Somebody want to propose it?
Yeah, if we're going to provide this service, then we need to pay for the service, and so I propose that we accept that quote.
A second.
Proposed and seconded, Kelly. Please show those in favour. 6. Chris, you abstaining or what? I can't hear you when you moved on.
I think he's abstaining.
I'm abstaining, thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Chris.
I could lip read.
You could lip read it.
Sorry?
Bill could lip read it.
Masonry alternative premises.
Just to say that we have accepted now the planning quote and that they are following up with a site visit for us. As you know, having talked a lot this evening about containers on my stray, we're ourselves putting 2 containers on my stray. So you need to think about the hypocrisy in mandating, but we are of course carrying and putting conditions in. So that's our project. It's moving forward, so that's good.
75 Overford Play estate. Anything else on that?
Well, you've already discussed it really. Is there anything that you want to send to full council, or you just want full council to have the presentation and make a decision? You decided council decided back in October last year that you basically you would agree to negotiate with Clwyd Allen over the lease of the Scousers pitch, which is now expired and held over. That you would explore including the green space next to the Scousers pitch in the Scousers pitch lease, and that you asked Clwyd Allen to build a new play park in Alton. That's what you agreed as council. You asked them to build it, not for us to build it, not for us to finance it, for them to build and finance a new play park. And you also didn't agree that you would take on the maintenance as well. So my suggestion would be that you have the presentation from Brendan in more detail about Alford next, at full council, and then you make a decision based on that.
I don't recall what you gave yourself.
Well, I'll show you the minutes if you want to.
Oh, yeah.
I can only do what I've been instructed to do. That's what council voted to do. There was a long discussion, and people will bring back in your mind, there's a very long discussion about maintaining it. And at the time we said we already maintained 6 play parks. We couldn't possibly afford to maintain a 7th. That was what the discussion was, and that's what council decided.
Well, exactly, but I personally think that was a not true statement, because we are maintaining 6 play parks.
Yes.
But we've spent the money on creating every one of those 6. The ground was owned by somebody else and they gave it to us or leased it to us or whatever. And And Alford is the same. Crewe and Allen will give us the ground, at least the ground to us. Why the hell are Alford children being treated differently? You know, it's simple as that. I'm sorry. There's more children on Alford than any other estate in this town. And all of a sudden, just because Crewe and Allen are there, they've got to pay. That's what everybody's saying. Well, sorry, I don't go with that, because I would like them to be treated exactly the same as all those other 6 areas have. And that is that the town council have created a play park on their ground. Bill?
Yeah, I think listening to Brendan this evening, that we have the basis of a method that will work. I personally think that we should take on the maintenance of the play park once it's completed, but that is a decision obviously for council as a whole to take. I think that we probably simply need to hear Brendan's reports in a fortnight's time, because hopefully he will have been able to move the stage further and have more to tell us, and then we can make a decision as full council.
You know, my sentiments, I really don't see why Alford are being treated differently by this council than all the other 6. All the other 6, the landowner somewhere has leased us the ground or given us the ground or whatever. Once we got the ground tied up, we spent the money, and I've got the papers at home, folks. I have the papers saying that we have spent thousands of pounds on these. We spent it, not the developer, not anybody who owns the ground. Welshpool Town Council owned all the play equipment and had it installed and everything else on every one of those. And if anybody wants to see the paperwork on it, please let me know. Nick Howells.
Yeah, I totally agree that the kids of Alford should have a playground, which they did back. I mean, I spent I still live on Alford. I spent a huge part of my life living on Alford from 1970 onwards. I got my kids up there, and I totally agree they need a playground for the kids. However, at this time, we don't own it. I mean, Clwyd Allen are worth an absolute fortune. They spent millions on Nyad Maldwyn and now are making a fortune coming back from it. Why won't they invest money in an Alford playground? Quite simply, because there's no comeback. There's no finance coming back from a playground for the kids. And so they're trying to push it onto Welshpool Town Council. And I'm sorry, I just find it really difficult to get my head round.
Anybody else? No, okay. Next item.
Sorry.
Soft play trial.
What?
Just to say that we are waiting some quotes from companies to come and look at, see how we can design the space, and that we're still, once that is done, then we can start to work with our insurers and risk assess out any issues that will arise.
Okay. Thank you. Item 8, items for future event agenda. And then, on the date of the next meeting, that will be the 2nd Wednesday of September, won't it?
9th.
Sorry?
9th of September.
9th of September, is it? Okay. Thank you. Now we have to have a proposal that we go into confidential session.
Happy to so propose.
Seconded. Okay, all in favor, going to confidential